Okay, so here we are gathered on this specific day, July 4th, which in the United States is a holiday, but it certainly can be a claiming that we make in this circle that it be a day of sovereignty and freedom from destruction, domination, and oppression. And we can make that declaration just because we have that voice. So as I sit with you in circle, that's my intention. That we are gathered here as women, souls in female bodies, with the assignment to discern what would destroy and have it identified and removed, and have all of its residue totally moved, clear, transformed, in order for the divine frequency of our home, of our galactic family agendas to be the core of this space and all space. So with that intention, I ask that each of our teams of guidance be here with us. Those teams that are guiding us in a bigger picture way, as well as our causal teams who are here for our personal guidance, that they be here with us. That those who could help us even more, be more expansive individually and as a group, be here to make their presence known. I also ask that those who have connections to past insertions of domination concepts and ideas be present to guide us to weed those out totally, be here present. As we breathe in that energy of our divine family, of which we are a representative, that energy awakening within Gaia greater potential as we work with her, that we send through the roots of that system within her body to all who are in a same committed mission of any kind, be fed by our energy, inspired by our presence as we are by theirs. And as we breathe and envision, see the design of a new world, reflecting our divine home, that those who can help us design be present. And as we are in that authority of the Sophia Collective, we know we can fiercely create through our heart chakra of love in total safety. So we are here on the sacred ground of sovereignty, cocooned in the fivefold fields that hold us and guide us and fill us. We stand ready to be participants today, individually and together collectively, knowing that we are a kernel of the expansive group on mission here. So our circle is declared, designed, anchored, and it is now open in total safety for the work we will be called to do today. And so it is. And so here we are. Let's take the next moment or two to check in, put ourselves in circle. However many you want to put in that place of divine good to be held in healing and guidance. By number, we'll do that. Situation, furry ones. So we'll just tag around, okay? So Sharon Raji here on Whidbey Island, a sunny day today. Whoa, so glad for that. We have so much rain here in the Northwest, Pacific Northwest. And I want to bring in, let's see, 68 individuals, multiple world situations, claiming them as mine, and I'll pass to Arlie.
Hi, I'm Arlie in New Zealand on a crisp winter morning. I want to bring in 21 people, that old sick cat, multiple world situations, and 4 personal situations. I'd like to bring in the quality of clarity, and I will pass to Deborah.
Thank you. I'm Deborah in hot summer North Carolina. I'd like to bring in 21 people for personal situations and 3 world situations. And I would like to bring in truth and calm. And I'll call on Angelique.
Hello, everyone from the Netherlands again. Almost midnight here. And we had a beautiful day today, really, really beautiful summer day. And I bring in 22 people and three personal situations and multiple world situations. And my quality is inner trust. And I go to Sue.
Thank you, Angelique. I am Sue. I'm out at Lake Goodwin, Stanwood, Smoky Point, Marysville. I seem to be in the middle of all of it. And I'm bringing in 27 people, 1 global situation, 1 personal situation, and the state of grace. And back to you, Sharon.
Okay, thank you. So we have 156 individuals that we have named by number to be put into that space of divine good, with all processes teams given permission and declaration that they be held in that space, guided in that space to whatever's highest and best for them, dissolving what seems impossible maybe to us, but opening doors of possibilities that weren't there for them, that they are opened and moved through, as well as 12 personal situations that have been put in that space, and 4 specific world situations and multiple world situations that we claim to be healed, all in that space. And we have asked for the qualities of clarity, truth, calm, inner trust, and the state of grace. And we thank those who are here to hold that with us and for us in reaction to our declaration. And so it is. Okay, my friends. So let's go around, and anything that is on your heart or mind that you want to put into the circle, I'll do it last. So, and whatever it is that you want this circle to hold or to hear from you. Arlie, I see you. Did you unmute? And do you want to start?
I thought we were going to popcorn, but I'm perfectly willing to start. What's on my mind and heart is the Highland Park shooting. Highland Park is where Richard and I got married. We have relatives within 7 kilometers of there. I am so fed up with the gun violence. And here it is, the 4th of July, and the Second Amendment thing is supposed to be freedom. My Second Amendment rots, and I have freedom on the day of independence and the day of freedom in the States. It's morning here, so we just heard this news. Our families who live right there are okay. But that's what I'm thinking about right now. And I'll pass to Angelique.
Thank you, Arlie. I haven't heard the news yet, so I don't know what you're sharing now. I understand there's another shooting, which is awful, really awful. And my heart goes out for everyone who is involved, and all families and members. And as I said, I didn't hear the news yet tonight, so I don't know. And yeah, everything which I was intended to share is less important than this is, so I leave it up to this. And I go to Sue.
Thank you, Angelique. So I'm going back and forth between what feels like a bottomless pit of fear and terrorism and death and destruction, and faith and trust in a state of grace. And to me, it feels like it looks like if I only watched the news, it would look like it's over, that the dark had won. That's what it would look like. I don't believe what I'm looking at is the highest truth. One, light workers all around the world are working on this. Scientists, all kinds of people are working on this. We just don't see it. It's not in the news. But it feels like we could be headed for like a civil war. I don't want a civil war, but I don't like what's happening either. So I've been getting a lot of clarity today, and it has nothing to do with my taking action as much as it has to do with my being in the now moment, which is sometimes impossible for me to get there. In the now moment is when the miracles happen. They don't happen 5 minutes ago, and they don't happen 5 minutes from now. It can only happen in consciousness in the moment. And I'm getting clarity today how powerful that is. And how hard it is for humans to do that. So I kind of go back and forth between the sadness of it all. So I don't go into a lot of anger and rage. But once in a while I get angry, and then what happens is there's like a layer of foggy brain lifts, and I see something more clear than I ever had before. And it seems like I have to get to that point of anger. Enough is enough. I'm done with all of this violence. So I've given all my spiritual teams new jobs, and they're out there to neutralize all these emotions that are fueling all this violence. And every time I do deep six, the hate, the terror, the violence, the racism, and I ask them to just deep six, I feel like I've done something. And then I bring in the love and light and I feel like I've done something. And it's important for me to feel like I am participating in solution and not problem. So that's where I am today. And Deborah?
Thank you, Sue. A lot of what Sue said, last week it just saddened me with all of the Supreme Court decisions and then the continued gun violence over the weekend in Highland Park. And there's a part of me that's very discouraged and very saddened. A part of me that, well, at least people are seeing it. It's up, it's out there. And then, but what's going to happen? Is everybody going to stick their head back in the sand, or is something going to change? And so I keep trying to do the work, but sometimes I just kind of get overwhelmed and I go read a book that has nothing to do with spiritualism at all and just ignore it for a little bit to keep my sanity. So that's where I am. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. So over the past few weeks, it's been a very rocky road for me personally, more rocky than I've had for a very long time, for good reason, very good reason. And so I've asked lots of questions, and so I want to share that first. So first of all, the ancient ones suggest that there's 5% now, 5% of the actual outsider presence on the planet. But what we're seeing is this: all of the outsiders' activities have had a shield around themselves, like that. Look like a sheep when they're really a wolf. They've had a protective shield around themselves. And as they have been removed back to their home, that protective shield, which kept us from seeing them, is gone. So we are seeing them, the 5% left, and like Sue pointed out, all that emotional, mental, damaged shit, if you will, that was created by their presence still remains to some degree on the planet. And we are seeing it because the shields of their makings are gone. So that's one thing to know. The other thing to know is that a week ago, I think it's been now, I recognize, like Sue, like probably you, I recognize that what we're dealing with is the residue or the entropy of their presence. So it's like they built this huge complex that we call cultures of domination, or I do, cultures of domination. And their cultures, their forms, their storage, their energies, their habits, their crippled, their trauma, all that entropy is what we are seeing, even though the house has been vacated. So I said, how can we then eliminate that more quickly? We do it ourselves when we're doing our healing work. We are doing it. We're eliminating whatever caused our feelings of not enough, of doubt, of fear, whatever memories. We're healing that individually. So I said, how can we do that more extensively? And they said, well, look at your cell phone. Your cell phone is a receiver and it's a broadcaster. Look at your computer. It's a receiver, it's a broadcaster. How many things out there in the world do you think are receivers that could receive this message that says, eliminate this type of frequency, that kind of frequency? That is not the PTO's job. The PTO's job goes after the outsider's presence and their vibrations and whatever they've created around themselves. But the residue is what we are now, that's what I'm looking at. And they said, here, we'll call it Golden Song, the Golden Song Project. In 2001, 2002, when we knew that the third world, the first little clink in the third world had been corrected, when I traveled to do my work, which I traveled extensively back then, Utah, Idaho, Northern California, Washington, they did not let me fly. They said, no, you cannot fly. We need you to drive. So I would drive these long haul trips. And they said, every place you go, give the directive to the trees, to the stones, to the water, to the electrical wires, to broadcast the message. Third world is corrected. Third world is corrected. And we did that. I did that for probably a year or two, in addition to those who were working with me individually. And, we did that. And that's what they are saying to do now. Put the message out, and you could just say, the Golden Song Project is singing everyone back to their divine harmony. I think all of you probably have the PDF of the Golden Song. So that's where we're at. Now here's where I'm at for today. As you may know, I do TikTok. I have 90,000 followers, which isn't very many, 90,000 views so far on TikTok. Not a lot compared to TikTok, but a lot more than YouTube, a lot more than Facebook. And these people are saying, oh my, and I'm talking all about energy healing, galactic history, and I'm now going to get into Earth Mission. Little teeny snippets, a minute and a half to 3 max, giving this information. And so I look and see what others are sharing. And I came across one night before last, and I went, I've got to bring that into our circle on Monday. And so this TikToker was talking about the energy patterns that was in play in Germany just before Hitler. And we are in the same pattern. And a big part of the pattern is divisiveness amongst everyone else. So who is going to be the savior to rise up to solve the problem? Hitler tried it once. He was imprisoned. He came out and they did a different tact, and they made more problem conflicting, pointing to fingers, so that he rose to power. We are in the pattern, sisters. We are in the pattern. Where did that pattern begin? Where is it still anchored? What this particular Monday call, anyway, when we first started, was to go back in time to say, with your guides, where can I be taken? Where's the concept? Where's the injury? Where was the insertion of an idea that says we can own by causing conflict? We can rise up by being the savior. Where did that, and where does it still exist? From my perspective, knowing history is important, but it is not the answer. If we know history, I had never seen it laid out in that fashion before. So knowing that was critically important, because I'm seeing we haven't got the seed of it gone. It's still happening. If we had the seed of this particular pattern that allowed Hitler to rise up, if it were gone, we wouldn't be seeing what's in our country today. And I think everything we're seeing, whether it's gun violence, whether it's pointing fingers, whatever it is all part of something much, much bigger to cause us as the masses. And when I'm speaking our country, Hitler did not just impact Germany. So my suggestion is we consider that at this moment in time, the question might be that we take to our guides, where can I go? What is still in place? Because it's the cause that will bring solution, right? Is the cause, eliminating the cause. And then we can hold the vision for the new. We know that. People are out there doing that all the time. They're doing that. We know we have to get to cause. identify it, do what we're told to do to eliminate that cause, whether it's a concept of insertion, whether there's still an anchoring of some kind of ownership mentality. We'll each be shown what, and the question could be just like, where can I go in this moment of time to be most effective in removing what's allowing this pattern to unfold again? Because I'm saying no, not enough, no more enough. We see it and we won't allow it. Where do I need to go? So that's where I'm at. And you guys are perfect. I could be in no better company this day with this commitment. Sue.
You reminded me what I was seeing, I don't know if it was this morning or last night, is that on a magnet there's positive and negative, and they each play a role, positive and negative energy, and everything is energy. And then what came in was you're saying she who has control of energy, who controls energy. And then what I saw was we have judged positive and negative energy as good and bad, and identified it to people and identified it to ideas. And what we have now is not one man, Hitler, but we have the ideal, the construct of Hitler informs a political, religious, terrorist groups. And we need to get back to positive and negative energy. And I hadn't been able to make that connection. Somehow there's a connection to positive and negative energy just being life, part of life. And then the judgment of positive and negative as good and evil, and creating a concept out of what was just a normal, natural energy. So that's what I got. I don't remember, last night or this morning. And that's all before I was able to take it. That it's still positive and negative, and we have to have positive and negative. We don't have to have good and evil judgment. And somehow we need to neutralize, and life just is. Life is. That's not necessarily a lot of clarity, but it brought me to a different perspective, and I'm still working on it. We're always going to have positive and negative energies. We don't have to have good and evil. Something like that.
I want to clarify for what I was told many years ago, Sue, in relationship to that, because that's where the outsiders are hidden, because it's not the full truth. Energy of home is all good. It always has been, always will be. And it was only in the third world when the outsiders came in, because we trusted everything as good. We didn't discern. And when the outsiders said, we'll help you out, and we invited them in to help us out, had no discernment about someone who would absolutely take over and dominate and harm. And when they brought in their agenda, which is separate, it is an agenda of harm, dominate. And it is their presence that causes our stream of divine good to fluctuate between fear and balance, fear and love. It is their presence. They intentionally keep us off balance, So from the very beginning of the third world, there were 3 streams of energy, and it's the third stream of outsider presence that they hid and shielded so well so many times. So that is why light alone, love alone, will not restore our divine family to wholeness, because the cause of the imbalance isn't our family. We are reacting to domination presence, and their agenda does not change. So their presence is what we needed to come to earth in order to identify that presence which did take away our life. And that presence is what's being eliminated and has been eliminated from that knowledge. Once that presence is gone, even in an individual's life, once there's an awareness of that presence, an individual alone can keep that out. And we do that individually. And then our life stream, it might still fluctuate between love and fear, or doubt and clarity, but eventually it will be balanced in good, which can choose all kinds of expressions. So the presence of outsiders is what's been hidden. And as long as it was hidden from us, we would never be anything but fear and love, fear and love, fear and love. And that wasn't what we planned to do when we came birthed from home. We planned to be expressions exploring all aspects of good. So what we have today is so much of that presence of outsiders gone, 5% left, and eliminating, like you were guided to know exactly, you've got to get rid of those, the emotions sweeping our country, our world, the thoughts of fear sweeping our world, all generated by agendas of domination. Yes, we're going to, as we clear that, then what we will see is that harmony of wholeness, variety of creations, but not to harm. It was never our divine nature is not harm, nor is our agenda to harm. So, whatever we can need to do to lessen and eliminate and remove any of those patterns, those concepts, those anchorings, whatever, that still exist, that is allowing harm to come, because they come from somewhere. They aren't created today. These shootings aren't happening happenstance. They have a cause. And that we're still saying, not in our world, not in our world. We're beings of love. We are beings of wholeness, really committed to good. Any hint of that, any other thing than that, is a residue of outsider agenda to dominate and use. So we keep adding more clarity, I think. Anything else before we do our, that's what I thought. I thought your hand was ready to go up, Deborah.
This is just a quick thing. I never got the golden song PDF. I checked my email again. I didn't.
I did not.
Yeah, yeah, I'll make sure it goes out. It might have been, yeah, I'll make sure it goes out again.
And one other thing, I just keep being told to say this. When Hitler came in, his first thing was control the news media and control the story that was going out.
Yeah.
And we've seen that, but I was watching one of the shows, and back in the there's a 1949 law on the books that anybody, radio or TV, when they did news stories, if they presented one side of the story, if there was two sides, they had to present both sides.
Yeah. And
Roger Ailes wanted to start a conservative, Fox News guy, wanted to start a conservative TV show, but it was only going to present one side. So it kept not going anywhere until he got enough people to vote through a new law in Congress that took away the 1949 ruling, so they could come up with these divided communications. So just
Yeah.
thought I kept coming up to share that.
Thank you, Deborah.
One other thing to add to that, Fox News also declared itself to be an entertainment channel, not a news channel, which is why they can say anything with impunity. Because they can say, who would ever expect you to believe that? You watch the show Superman. Do you really think men fly? So we're an entertainment channel. This is all just for entertainment. It's insidious.
And it all has its beginning somewhere. There's still some seed somewhere, maybe, and probably more than one. But we
Oh, and
gotta go after that.
one of the things is my daughter brought this up too, and I've been having this happen to me in listening to old songs, you know, like 50s, 60s, 70s, and the lyrics. I'm like, how did I not catch that before? It was sort of romantic, and now it's like, oh my gosh, that's so domineering. Or, and she said the same thing. So it's like the veils are lifting, so people are seeing it in all the forms. But
Yep, we're here and we're not stopping. And whatever we each are called to do is absolutely powerful and right in the moment. So you ready? Okay. So probably we'll go into a journey, and in about 10 minutes into the journey, I'll see where everyone is. And of course, as soon as you're finished, you can turn on your camera. If we need more than 10 minutes, we'll do more than 10 minutes. So as we gather here, very committed, deeply committed, with great tenacity, we will not be moved. We recognize the messages all around us that there is more weeding, eliminating of insertions to be done, healings to be done, and we are made for the task. So as we each call for our teams, present and new, if there are more to give us information with new things, that's wonderful. We welcome you. And we stand within the fivefold cocoon on this sacred ground of sovereignty and ask that we be shown in this great plan of restoration of our divine families, agendas and harmonics and unity. What is mine to do today? And notice who shows up there for you. Hear from them what they need to say. If there's any directive they have for you or you for them, it will be done. And they have the path, the assignment, the knowledge for you. We trust them. And we will be gathering back with what we have been shown, actions to take, information to share. We'll see you back in about 10 minutes or so. Okay, looks like we're ready. Is there someone who'd like to start?
I'll start. So I fixed the idea of fox and aisles in my head and talked to my guides about going back to the roots of this. And I went back and I was shown that if 10 people see the exact same event, there will be 10 versions of what happened. And each of them can be completely honest in the heart and from the point of view of the person who's telling the tale. So I went back further and I went back to dozens of villages, communities, caves, back further and further to the first time in each of these places that the idea that a telling could be slanted, that the telling could have an emphasis on one part over another, be it an emotional tag or skipping over details of this part, but going into details over the first time the idea came that there's two ways of being honest about what you saw or being more honest. So I asked to see what that really looked like. And I saw this image of a black cartoon bubble complete with the tail on it, you know, those thought bubbles. And I knew that it was a thought form that I was seeing. And so I just developed like my cosmic vacuum cleaner I brought up and started sucking up all of those thought forms from way back when in all those villages, communities, caves, towns, and just started bringing it forward through the generations and sending this all to cosmic compost when the vacuum bag got full. Haven't gotten away from vacuum bags. So, but there's also muck and mud, really sticky, that's below us, not the thought forms that are above. It's like under our feet. So I was wondering, you know, what can we do about that? Try to shovel, way too sticky, try to backhoe, won't work. And I was shown to dry it up. And when it was bone dry, it could be blown by the wind. And then the thought forms separated from the ground beneath our feet, the intrinsic part, the thing that we're standing on. And they could then be taken to, rooted out and sent to cosmic compost. So that's where I went, and that's what I saw.
Quick question, Sharon. Which world is it, the fifth, where we set up the group to maintain, to save the other groups in case they got too lost and forgetful?
Well, in the third group, in the third world of the Curiosity family, that's where one of the a group came together to not go into the whirl, and so that they would maintain stability in order for once the other 12 groups were finished with the up and down and what it feels like to not be connected totally, that
Okay.
1/13th group would be there to hold space and to pull them out. And that's when the outsider whispered to the 13th group, "You're not enough. You can't do it alone." Right. Yeah. So it was the third world.
It was third. I couldn't remember if it was third or fifth. I'm sorry. I was just like, it was just shuddered. But anyway, so when I went on to my journey, I was met by Jesus, Buddha, a lot of different leaders of religious groups throughout time. And we went and they said, well, in the third world, when you set up the 13th group, that's when you set up to be saved, for a savior, for another person to come in and save you. And you all did it to yourselves. And you lost your sovereignty and divine connection to home. And instead of owning your divine connection to home, you set it up to be saved by an outsider sort of group, not the one part of your home family. So what we did is went back to the other 12 groups and told them and set it up as like, no, you have to support each other and maintain your connection to divine home and not let go of that. And you don't need anything else to save you. You're already saved and connected and have all that power. And then brought it down through all the other worlds and then into this one and through to the present. It's like you have it, you have each other's backs. You don't have to hide your gifts. You don't have to hide your talents. You don't have to do any of that. And brought it forward to now. And what I got, that was the beginning of you need an outside savior. And somebody who knows more or more connected to source or more connected to whatever. And that's what gave more leeway for the parasitics to get established and come through. So that's what I got.
Um, the quality I brought in today was inner trust, and my story, my vision, my journey went back to inner trust immediately. And I started with going back to the beginning of all times. And I was with my team and surrounded by angels and archangels. And there it seems to be that I am watching in a world within a world which is totally different from what we are used to in this moment in time. The world where I'm looking into is pure harmony, because there is trust, and there's trust within everything, and it goes to it goes and it's coming back all the time. There's only trust from deep within, and there's no doubt. Because there's no doubt, there can only be trust. And things started to go off track when doubt came in. That is shown to me. As soon as we, humanity, begin to doubt ourselves and then others and each other, the pure and the embracing connection with the divine feminine and the divine began to disappear. And then, of course, lies, competition, violence, and greed, and everything comes in that place. And I was born, and I am shown that all is about choice. What choice do we make? Which thought do we feed? What will I or what will we believe, hear? And what will we choose to believe or hear, see as what is our own? Do I choose to be and stay and always go back again to source and within where lay all the answers and solutions for humanity, and what is needed right now, and where do we grow back into trust again? And the answer was, it's not to be or let us be distracted by any outsider energy, and and then or any stories, events, and or happenings which are fed by the negative, just then it is most important to stay with inner trust. So when we are confronted with any negativity, any negative thought, or well, maybe in the media or wherever, immediately we need to go back inside and connect with source. So that's what the answer was. Thank you.
So I went right back into, it's been going on for a couple of months, looking at energy, positive and negative energy. And what I was shown is like the sand tar pits, really sticky, holding those in who are there in hate and fear and terror, and seeing the only way for them to survive is power over, divide and conquer, eliminate anything that is opposing their own ideas of self-preservation, Hitler. And I see the whole Hitler concept playing out in groups against anyone who opposes white supremacy, inclusivity. If you want inclusivity, you're a danger. You're terribly dangerous. And I loved it when Arlie said the black goo dried out, because that's what I saw, the sand pits drying out and losing their power. And that's been my work, is neutralizing all that which creates that matrix of sticky black energy that holds human mentality in pain and suffering, death and dying. I mean, you can shame somebody till they die. You can terrorize them till they die. And that's all in that lowest frequency of energy. And we have free will, but man, it's hard to get out of that construct. So all of us who have worked as light workers to get out of that negative, sticky, gooey matrix. What I'm seeing again in this meditation is going back into the here and now. In the here and now is that grace, that state of grace. It is compassion, and it is an open heart and an open mind. And the open mind is not into duality, it's not into evil of any kind. It's in love and light. It's in a state of grace. It is where our natural consciousness dwells from within our spiritual hearts. It's home. And the more I focus on that, the stronger my love and light is that goes out, and anyone can become a beacon of consciousness that radiates out and touches thousands upon thousands upon thousands, because it radiates out. And so there's multiple levels of solution, but the solution just kind of shows up a little bit differently for each of us, but it's all on the same. Our agenda is the same. And mine just keeps expanding. So over the last 2 months, there's been a lot more clarity for me, and a stronger sense of light workers are united. We're finding clarity from within. We don't need a savior from without, so we stop buying into the Hitlers of the world. And we're getting stronger and stronger and stronger. And that means our light is stronger and stronger and stronger. And it touches more and more and more people. And I can live with that because I'm doing something. I'm doing something that makes a difference. And that makes me complete. I feel satisfied. I feel empowered. And I'm complete.
Holding the end result and working with energy from a mastery point of view is what determines the outcome. So what I asked to be, I felt really strongly to be deeply digging to identify and remove any cause of patterns, of concepts, of contracts, of kidnappings, of turncoats, etc., 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 that is being used in present day, still being used. And so I was told that there were 4 points that I was to look at today, and they all are in the 8th dimension. So they're all in that earth world, in the 8th world, the 8th dimension of the earth. And their concepts, their policies, their laws, their plans, their words, any kind of entropy that's there. So I called in the various teams, the tag team, the PTO team, the search, rescue, and restore team, the star team, and now the golden song team. So I called them all in to be present to what these 4 were, so they could each do their part to remove them. And the first one was that concept of the outsiders have had very strongly from their beginning, because that's who they are, was I own. We own. We own. Getting rid of that one because it's not the truth at all. Divide and conquer. We'll use the male bodies to weaken and divide. So I removed that one. And there was another one that wasn't, it was just like the delight in causing chaos and fear, like playing with the mouse before you killed the mouse. That kind of energy that like, there's more fun. And then the last one was like, and it's more, and we have a greater rush if we hop into the physical body to vicariously get the experience. So we can hop in and out of bodies, so we have the rush of whatever that is. So those are the 4 we went after. Eliminating that, and then sealing our space, our skies, from any outsider presence with the 5-fold cocoon back throughout all time, the Sophia collective back throughout all time, the PTO, the tag transform, the golden song throughout all time. And the reality shift was that the biofield of all 64 dimensions of our 7 divine families are in absolute resonance to good and the highest harmonics within Laniakea. So that's what I did. So we're still on it. Great job, everyone. Important, so important. So is there anything else, anything that wants to be said before we close this circle?
I had an image that people can wake up, that many, many thousands will be waking up overnight. I mean, it can go much faster than we ever even hoped for.
I'm with that. Absolute, Deborah. So let's just capture the energy that we have created and been given and anchored today. That space of divine good that we're committed to, whatever words we use, whatever pieces we're shown as outcome. That vibration that's created through what we called forth today becomes a magnificent wave, flame, wind, grounding for this work, whose outcome is expression, resonance of our divine truth of home, divine family agenda of good. May it fill all space, time, nooks and crannies, whatever names, from this point forward, present, and in what we call back. And so it is. So I will send out, I'm going to send a replay of this one to everybody's on the list. Usually I let everybody go to YouTube and find it. I feel we're grown-ups, but I think this is a really important juncture point. So I'll be sending the replay of this quite soon, probably before tonight. And on that, I'll have the Golden Song Project, as well as a short description of the fivefold cocoon for those who may not know it. Most of us do, but. And enjoy the rest of your day and week. And until we meet again, love you all. So honor who you are. Much love.
Love you too, Sharon. Thank you so much as always. As always.
Thank you.
Thank you, all of you. And
Thank you.
Good night to me. From me.
Yes.
Bye.